Hello and welcome to 3ABN Today Live. It is Thursday night, all the way live here at the 3ABN Production Center here in West Frankfort, Illinois. I'm John Lomacang, and I have my co-pilot. She's my navigator, my wife, Angela. Good to have you here, honey.
I'm always happy to be here, and I'm excited about tonight's program.
That's right. This program is going to make an impact on you. You'll find out what I mean by that in just a moment. But before we introduce our guests, we'd like to encourage you to stay for the entire 2-hour program. It's not only you listening to us, but you'll get a chance to send your questions in.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll let you know how you can send those in just a moment. But thank you for your prayers and your support of 3ABN as we continue going and growing, getting ready for the most exciting event, honey. What is that? The return of Jesus.
Amen.
And so tonight, if you want to send your questions in, you can email those at live@3abn.tv. That's live at 3abn.tv, or you can text at 618-228-3975. Once again, 618-228-3975. And honey, we're looking forward to this program. We've been a part of this ministry we've had some time to travel with them too, but tonight they're going in a continual direction. You know, this program, by the way, let me just kind of put it in the context here. Not only are there missionary programs and orphanages around the world, but tonight you're going to find out the darker side of what's happening around the world and how this ministry in particular is diving in by the grace of God and the protection of heaven to make a difference in rescuing lives. And you'll find out in a moment why that is so vitally important and more specifically what that is. So without any further hesitation, let's welcome our guest tonight, Pastor Tom Evans, Dr. Tom Evans. Good to have you here tonight.
It's good to be here. Thank you, John and Angela.
Yes. Short overview of who you are and where you're from and what you do right now.
Well, I grew up in a place that's so nice they named it twice. Can you guess where that's at?
Walla Walla.
Yeah, that's it. So I grew up in the Northwest, born in Texas, so I always claim Texas is a home state because I worked for 13 years there as well as a pastor and primarily focused on church planting. That's been the area of work that I've been most involved with, but always had this heart for the people that no one really were looking out for the most disadvantaged. And I kind of had this uneasy feeling that the Seventh-day Adventist Church wasn't doing very much to fight human trafficking. And so when I heard about an organization called Child Impact that wanted to make a difference in this area, it immediately resonated with my wife and I. And so we relocated near Southern Adventist University.
Okay.
And we've been there for 5 years now leading Child Impact.
Wow. And also you're the CEO of that ministry.
We have an amazing team.
That's right.
It's a joy to work together.
And many years ago it was called, what was it called? A little different mission.
Sure. Yeah, Asian Aid started in 1966, before I was born, in Australia. And the focus was really on child sponsorship, mainly in Asia. They wanted to start and expand, and so they came to the United States as Asian Aid USA. But a number of years ago, that transition to Child Impact happened, and then the focus now has begun to really be on fighting human trafficking, although we still sponsor about 5,000 children globally.
Wow, wow. Well, you're not here by yourself. Who else do we have?
No, Jason Churchwell. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having us. It's always fun to be here at 3ABN.
Tell us about who Jason is.
Sure. Well, I'm a Georgia boy.
Okay.
I grew up in Georgia, went to the University of Georgia.
In the Peach State.
You got it.
Okay.
And worked for the church for a number of years. And my wife and I have 2 young daughters.
Okay.
And they're 7 and 9 now. And I was working for the church, working for Advent Health.
Okay.
And was really praying, Lord, how can I do more to help other young girls like mine have the type of life that my wife and I are trying to give them, you know, a safe place at night, to learn about Bible stories, to learn about Jesus from a young age, to be educated, you know, and all the opportunities and privileges we want to give our kids here, you know. How can I help other kids have that experience growing up? And so we were looking for somewhere to volunteer as a family and a way to get involved in our local community. And so I looked up everyone around me, all the nonprofits that were in our church, and found Child Impact was close to us. We'd actually been sponsoring a kid in India for a number of years, and got a letter from Tom with our tax receipt on it. And he just got there. We didn't know each other. And I just said, hey, Tom, do you ever need any volunteers? Is there anything my family can do? Oh. And that was 4 years ago.
So when would you like to interview?
Exactly. And you decided to follow your money. Yeah. Where's my money going? Let me see where it's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So Tom and I got connected and started a conversation, a relationship, and the Lord just opened so many doors for me to be at Child Impact, and I'm really excited and privileged to be part of this ministry.
VP and field operations?
Yes. So I get to look after the projects in the field.
Wow.
And it's very rewarding work, and happy to say that Child Impact's a very family-oriented ministry. I've taken my kids on trips. They've been able to see firsthand our work. I know you've taken your kids, and so it's really been a blessing to be a part of it.
Tom, how many kids you have?
9.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
9?
Yeah.
How is that?
We almost hit my wife's goal of 10. When we were dating, that's how many she said she wanted to have. I didn't believe her. But she convinced me that there are orphans that need children, or that need homes and need families.
Okay.
And that we could grow our family through adoption as well.
Okay.
And so that's what we've done. 4 of those children are adopted.
Well, and we'll meet some of them later on in the program, hopefully.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good to have you both here, Tom and Jason. You know, there's a philosophy that you go by, the particular scripture, Psalm 82, verse 3 and 4, and that defend the poor and the fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy, deliver the poor and needy, free them from the hand of the wicked. Tell us why that fits what we're talking about tonight.
I think it fits in so many different ways. I think as I talk with men, I really challenge us that we're called to be protectors. Yes. Unfortunately, there's men that are perpetrators.
Wow.
And so we need to be men that will protect the vulnerable, that will protect children. And I always tell women, your job is to be a mama bear. You know, we need to be looking out for these kids. And there are people that in the United States want to groom them online and hurt them in that way. Whole different issue here in America where there's poverty. Girls end up getting trafficked, and some places boys as well. And so I believe we're called by God to make a difference in this way. And it even says that we're to prosecute those that are causing harm to children. And so that is some of what we're involved in doing as well, is making sure that those that are harming kids are brought to justice. But mainly that call is to rescue the children and bring them to a safe place.
Well, you've done that, haven't you? Your ministry.
Many different places in the world. It's been a huge blessing.
You know, Jesus talked about the impact. He talked about, you know, if you offend one of the least of these little children, it's better that a millstone be put around your neck and you be cast into the depths of the sea. The value of a child to become as a child, and the world is designed today. You talked about it, alluded to it. Online is not a safe place for children, particularly.
The verse you're referring to, John, it's actually an oinokos millstone. It's the only time that word is used in the New Testament. And it means a millstone that's turned by a donkey.
Wow.
We translate it as large.
Okay.
But literally so big that it takes a donkey to turn it. So these are millstones that were 800 to 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
So that's how serious Jesus was about how we treat children and keeping them safe.
Wow, that's something else. So when you think about the impact of Child Impact, how did you get involved in fighting human trafficking?
Right.
Yeah, I want to just give a little prelude to that and then hand it to Jason on that one.
Okay.
Child Impact began work in fighting human trafficking with an initiative called Operation Child Rescue. It was a new project to Child Impact. When I first came, I thought, do we run that as separate, or is that just come under the umbrella of Child Impact? So we went the direction of Child Impact as the overall ministry, but a major focus for us will be Operation Child Rescue. And so when I arrived, there were 3 projects, all in the same country. Now that country was the right selection, is India, the largest by population in the world, but also with the largest number of human trafficking victims. And so we looked at 3 projects there and began to explore and try to discover what else is the Seventh Adventist Church doing, what other ministries are involved. So that's where Jason got involved in helping us grow that vision.
Yeah,
Jason?
You know, it was a great component, I think, of Child Impact, because we were sponsoring all these kids to go to Adventist mission schools, and many of them were coming with other issues. And so how, as Child Impact, do we help those kids who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds?
Right.
Whether it's through poverty, where their parents feel like they don't have another option, another choice, and they start going into prostitution, or taking false job offers. You know, there are lots of ways that people fall into trafficking. We talk about it's not always someone who comes up in a white van and snatches, you know, a kid and pulls them in.
False proposals,
exactly.
promises that are not true.
Lots of fraud and scamming going on. And what we like to say is we have something to rescue kids too. So once we get them to a safe place, we can put them into our sponsorship program and get them into an Adventist mission school, going to school, or teach them a trade or a vocation. And so it was a natural fit, I think, with Child Impact, wanting to really help the most vulnerable kids in the world, wherever they are. And so whether that's kids who are out of school, whether that's kids who don't have food to eat, or whether that's kids who are trapped in a situation of human trafficking and modern day slavery.
What is your territory?
The whole world.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we want to shine a light where it's the darkest. And so we're working in the largest red light district in the world, in the top sex tourism city, in the most dangerous country. So these are the places where we know we must be. And I think we really came to the conclusion it's one thing to be impoverished, it's another to be poor and trafficked. And so these are the kids that are really trapped with no way out, and they need somebody to come for them. They need somebody from the outside to intervene, to give them a chance. And here in America, there's human trafficking happening here. There's 1 million victims. But the United States ranks number 2 at identifying and rehabilitating human trafficking victims. And so as we look at that, Great Britain is number 1. But as we look at that, that's a good thing, that we're able to identify here in America the victims, we can rehabilitate them. But the countries we're working in, the places where we're at, nobody's coming for these kids. And that's where we feel most compelled as followers of Jesus to get involved to make a difference.
You know, it's part of a dark economy in a lot of these countries. You talk about that because it could be anywhere from a family member not knowing how to make ends meet, the mother trying to sustain her children, fathers selling their daughters. We had an opportunity a number of years ago to go to India, different parts of and we heard these stories. And we thought, wow, there's so many multiple ways that a child could get lost in the system. It's not always somebody from the outside, sometimes it's family members from the inside. And so when you deal with that kind of dynamic, what kind of challenge is that when you're sometimes trying to rescue a child from his or her family? That's a different story altogether.
Yeah, that's a whole nother aspect, and often trafficking happens from people that are trusted. And that betrayal is so significant for these children that the first thing we need to do is make sure they're in a safe place. Once they're safe, then healing can start. But it's a long journey for many of these children, and it's really heartbreaking to hear their stories, to read some of their stories but it's important for them to be able to share the trauma that they've been through.
Now, the safe place, what is that?
We have several different ways that we accomplish bringing them to a safe place. Maybe I'll touch on one. One is a safe house. Those are for smaller projects. And then we've really, I think Jason had an emphasis the last couple of years on a whole rescue campus. So what does that look like, maybe?
Sure. So once we rescue kids, let's say we bring them to a safe house, well, those kids need to go to school now.
Right.
And so we've started to develop this rescue campus model, where we build dormitories for boys and girls, staff them with social workers, professional counselors, and psychologists who can help them overcome their trauma. And then we are building schools now where those kids can go directly into an Adventist mission school right there on campus. And so we're building one right now in the Philippines. We're about to start another one in Brazil. And later this year, we hope to open the 3rd one in Costa Rica, a brand new project that we haven't told a lot of people about, but it's in the works.
Tom, sometimes people talk about Bible prophecy, the mark of the beast, all the different aspects of Revelation. But you have a slide that presents Revelation in a little different light that sometimes is overlooked. Talk about that.
It was surprising to see this verse because we love prophecy as Seventh-day Adventists.
Oh, of course.
But, you know, tariffs, right? Where the goods are traded between countries.
Yes.
Well, Revelation 18 talks about that. It creates a whole list for us of the kind of goods that are traded between countries. And then it comes to this final verse, and it says, the merchants of the earth sell the bodies and the souls of men.
Oh, that gave me chills.
As I look at this picture, you see a barcode. That means these girls are for sale. But you also see that they're behind bars. It's really like they're in prison.
Wow.
And so that's the reality across the world. The average price of a slave today is $90. And there are more slaves than at any time at Earth's history. So we have a short video that kind of introduces that that we could put on at this time.
Let's go ahead and look at that, the video about child rescue trailer.
Where darkness runs deepest, Child Impact is shining a light. From the world's largest red light district to the leading destination for sex tourism to the world's most dangerous country. Rescuing children from exploitation, breaking chains of abuse, restoring hope for the future. In just 5 years, Child Impact's Operation Child Rescue has grown from 3 projects to 36 projects in 18 countries.
Mais crianças encontradas.
More children found. Ugwashibunji tulapa.
Freedom yonse desapesa. More freedom reclaimed.
Umi wonse tulajincha.
Mais vidas para sempre transformadas.
More lives forever changed. Join the rescue party, monthly partners who help bring children to safety all year long. Because every child still waiting to be found deserves safety, freedom, and hope.
I have a question. What is the youngest age a child is trafficked?
Oh my, babies can be trafficked. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, if people want to sell a child, but many times babies are abandoned as well because mothers can't afford to look after them. We're involved with one project where there's a lot of prostitution happening in that area with tourists coming in, and then the prostitute will leave the baby, abandon the baby, and do those kind of things. But yeah, baby's the youngest. We have been involved in actually at times purchasing girls in a way.
Yes.
And the youngest one on that, I think Jason's a 6-year-old, right?
6?
That we purchased. So we actually paid for her.
To rescue her.
For sale as a child bride.
Wow.
Right.
So you have to, somebody buys her or you have to buy her and to rescue her.
It's essentially a dowry that someone's paying. It's really a payment, right? It's a way for the family. Sometimes they look at it as a way to get rich. You know, I have 2 girls, and everyone always asks me, are you going to try for a boy, you know, a 3rd boy? Because here we think, you know, boys are very valuable. They can help, you know, run the family business. And in former times, it was take over the farm, things like that. But in a lot of places, girls are the most valuable because they can be sold for a dowry. And in exchange, you're either receiving livestock, you're receiving food, or cash in exchange for these girls. I think of the story of baby James in the Philippines that you tell sometimes. Tell us, you know, the value, you know.
Yeah, so we found out that this young boy, his mother was a child bride. She died during childbirth, which is one of those risks. And child marriage is actually a form of human trafficking, one of the 3 major forms of human trafficking, because something's received in exchange for that girl, and it's not something she wants to do or would choose to do. So it goes against her wishes. But this baby boy was born, and he was just placed beside the corpse of his mother in a hut to die. We found out later, had he been a girl, there would have been many people ready to rescue him because at some point they would receive a dowry.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, one of our teachers there rescued him, and we helped with his adoption and the cost to take care of him and so on.
Wow.
So that's where we've been able to step in some instances and say, hey, if we pay the dowry, will you not sell this child as a bride? You know, to a 50, 60-year-old man as a 3rd or 4th wife, you know, something like that. And can we take her and educate her and give her a safe and loving home to grow up in?
I could only imagine some of these young ladies when they grow up, some of these girls when they grow up, and they look back on what their options could have been.
Yes.
Where they, there's a fork in the road that sometimes the Lord sends you at that moment to totally change the future of a young child. When we were in India, we found out some of the children that had been rescued, it was a little different, more like orphanage, but some of the children were tied to a pole and left outside of the orphanage, and nobody knew who they belonged to. But they grew up in the orphanage, and then, as a result, started to give back by working at the orphanage. So not only are their lives changed, but they now dedicate their lives to change the lives of other children that are in a similar situation. Going back to 2021, how has your project grown since 2021 over the last 3 child impact projects?
I think first we just did a survey, Jason, of all the Adventist organizations and just trying to find out, are any of them fighting human trafficking? And we found a handful. But the total we came up with, I think, was less than 10. And we had 3, so we were kind of the leading entity organization with only 3. So we said this needs to change. So we offered to partner with those other projects, and some of them came on board with Child Impact. But then we began to realize that probably we would need to start some of our own projects or look at schools that we had already and add a rescue component to our ministry surrounding that particular school. So that's what we started to do. And a couple years ago, we made a massive shift with Child Impact that Jason and I took to the board. And I remember we talked after that board meeting, and we said, we don't think they know what they just voted. So what was it that we voted?
What was it?
So we started what we call Child Impact Global, where we began opening Child Impact nonprofit organizations, legal entities with bank accounts and everything, in countries around the world. And so we really went from an organization that just partnered with other ministries to having our own offices now where we have an international presence.
Worldwide.
And so now we have Child Impact offices in the works or already officially started in 6 countries. And some more in the works. So we're really excited about the direction we've gone, because now we can choose what countries we want to go in and really go in the places where there's the greatest need.
So the government of these countries, you have a working relationship with them, obviously, to be able to establish that. How does that work?
We have to. So we have to go in, we have to do everything legally. We have to have the right credentials for our staff, because we don't want to go in as an organization and if we start snatching kids off the street and putting them in houses or schools, it could look like we're trafficking kids, right? And that's not what we want to do. And so we have to go through the appropriate channels, to get kids. And sometimes that's initiated by the government, where they'll come to us and say, hey, we have this situation. Can you please help us? Can you place this child in one of your programs? And other times we have to build the case, and we have to take it to the police or the government and say, hey, this is a case that we found of a child being abused or trafficked, and we have to get them involved. So they take over from there. And then, of course, we want to stay in touch with that child through our counseling or psychology programs, and hopefully get them into our homes and our schools.
The government's cooperative, they cooperate with you?
Yes, I would say by and large,
Good.
the countries we work in,
Yes.
they don't want to see these things happening in their countries, and many of them don't have all the solutions in place. So when they're very happy to partner with us when we bring proposals, and in many places we have government officials at very high levels that are just thrilled with what we're doing in their country, and roll out the red carpet for us to be able to have opportunities to help these kids.
Do they ever give you any kind of local funding?
No.
Okay. They're glad to open that. I asked that because I'm kind of planting the seed that our listeners and viewers are the extension of what's happening in these other countries.
True.
They don't always give us funding, but they will provide resources and help in other ways.
Okay.
I've been in some countries where the police have picked me up at the airport and provided full security escort.
Wonderful.
For our
We
team.
often get security, which that's worth something for sure.
Now, when you think about what you're impacting, no pun intended here, literally there are probably businessmen, so to speak, that are not really happy that this kind of entity is being established in their own country, kind of cutting into their profits. Have you ever felt that kind of heat on your back?
I would say that the issue is so immense and broad that there's plenty of others that they will go and find. That being said, for those that we intervene in their lives, it totally changes their world. And so we know that we can affect not only that child, but their whole system, their family system, perhaps their village. So this is something that takes time in terms of the impact that we'll have. But at this point, at least to our awareness, we've not created a national crisis anywhere we've been.
Praise God. The angels of the Lord are encamping around about you.
I'm sure we've been more unsafe than we realize,
Right.
Yeah.
but we've been thankful for the protection that is provided for us.
He shall give his angels charge over
Amen.
you.
Keep
Yeah.
you.
Now, I'll say, you and I we often have security and always locals with us,
Right.
but our team on the ground are very brave people. We've had to beef up our security in some of the projects. We've had armed men come in who are very upset, try to take girls out who have been rescued. And so it's very dangerous. And these are people who have families,
Yeah.
you know, in these countries who have decided to put their life on the line to try to rescue somebody else.
Talk about the rescue party and why is that important?
Okay. So the rescue party are individuals that partner with us on a monthly basis. So we have all 36 of these projects running now, and there's interest in many more projects, and we would love to add more projects. However, we want to make sure that what we are operating, what we're running is holistic, that the children are receiving the professional and loving care that they need, and that we can do that on an ongoing basis. We don't want to end a year and say, well, now we don't have funding for next year, but we're glad you had a safe place for this period of time.
Right.
No, we need to see them through until they can stand on their own.
That's right.
So that means that all of these 36 projects have an operational cost involved.
36 projects.
Yes,
That many?
in 18 countries.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, you know, many donors get excited about starting something new, and we do too.
Of course.
We always love to start something new. But those that sign up for the rescue party say, we believe in what you're doing, and we want to support that across all the projects. So that's incredibly helpful for us. When I first started, we were starting at the zero at the beginning of every year for Operation Child Rescue. And whatever we raised that year is what we could fund the next year. So we were making sure that we were being responsible financially, but we were very limited. And so now, because many people have partnered with us on a monthly basis, we can start with something at the beginning of the year. And yes, we still have those one-time donations that make a big difference, but we have a number of donors that give $1,000 a month to Operation Child Rescue, and there's some that give 5 or 10 a month. And we like to think that a large army
Right.
of donors is the best way to tackle this issue.
What's your goal?
Our goal is for every child to be in a safe place.
Amen.
You know, it's the whole world, really.
You're right.
But we do that one child at a time. And so we do have expenses far beyond what
You have
we're
a
getting
financial goal.
in monthly pledges.
Yes.
We have to raise those one-time donations still, but I would love to see all of our 36 projects supported through monthly donors so that we can go out and start more projects. It's, you know, when we see a need, we want to be able to step into that door that God is opening. And so that's a huge way. It's just simply going on our website, childimpact.org, and selecting Operation Child Rescue, and then putting monthly.
That's
Check the
simple.
box that says monthly. And that makes a huge difference.
And I'm going to use the latter part of a scripture that we're all familiar with. What will a man give in exchange for his soul? You just whisper that. What did you say? The
Price of a soul.
The price of a soul. There's no ceiling there.
No.
Many years ago, there was a movie put out, I think it was about rescuing Jews during the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
And there was
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List.
Yes.
And toward the ending of the story, Mr. Schindler,
Mr.
he said,
A ring.
I could have rescued one more.
Yes.
And it was
goal.
so heart-wrenching. He looked at his car. He said, I could have rescued 3 more. I could have rescued 5 more. And when you think about the impact, this is not only an earthly impact, but this is an impact for eternity, because the lives are moving in a completely different direction. And would this be where, does this fit into the to July 30th?
Yeah. So one of the moments that was, I believe, that God inspired and touched my heart with was an opportunity that is presented by July 30. July 30 is the World Day Against Human Trafficking.
Wow.
And so I began to wonder, how can Child Impact get involved around that date to raise awareness and to invite people to make a difference? And so we have chosen the last weekend of July every year to do some major events. And so we have an evening of freedom. I think I have a slide on it here.
Let's see.
Yeah.
This is in Collegedale, but we have it where people can tune in live. That'll be at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the last Sabbath of July.
Yes.
So just a few days away. And then we open up our office on the Sunday.
Oh.
And we have a meal there, and we talk about projects all around the world and what Child Impact is doing in that way. So this
Now, when you say tune in live, just go ahead. How do they do that?
they can get that link on our website.
On the
Okay.
website.
Yep. And they can tune in live on Facebook, or we're at the Collegedale Community Church,
Gotcha.
and they'll have a link as well.
Okay.
But we have a very special appeal this year, and I want to put that slide up.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, let's
So
see.
this year, our appeal is $50
Tell 'em
for
I-
$50 million. Now, we would love that to be $50 million, but that's 50 million human trafficking victims. And so we're inviting people that have never given before to Child Impact to say, I'll give $50 this one time. I'll give $50 and make a difference for those 50 million, one child
What
at a
about
time.
A month.
Or they can check the box to
Yeah.
do that monthly.
Yeah.
And so that's our big appeal in terms of bringing more donors on board, that army of supporters to help with these 36
50
projects.
million.
That's a
Not
50 million
dollars, but
globally.
people.
people.
Yes. Yeah.
It's terrible.
And if we had $50 million, it's incredible what we could do to help rescue girls and women and boys around the world. And I believe someday that will be the size of our organization. But we're growing step by step as we're faithful to the opportunities that God puts in front of us. But we have one other part of that appeal this time,
Yes.
and that is based on a trip that Jason and I just took to the largest brothel in the world.
Where's that?
That is in Sanagachi.
Where's that?
Sanagachi is in India,
India.
and there are 16,000 sex workers or prostitutes that make Sanagachi their home. And so this was one of the most transformational and impactful events I've ever been involved with in terms of visiting a project.
Is that the project you're highlighting this
We're
year?
highlighting, we're raising funds to help with the operations of that project this year.
16,000.
16,000,
Crazy.
yeah.
Now, are they in one particular district, or just this is the name of Sanagachi a city?
Sanagachi is a region of Kolkata.
Calcutta.
Wow.
So both of us sat down.
I'm spinning when I'm thinking about this. I'm just thinking,
Me too, hon.
you go to an area where 16,000 people in this community are sex
Massive.
workers.
It's massive.
They're all sex workers. So Jason and I were walking down alleys there after, one prostitute after another
Do they
soliciting.
dress that way?
Different than I thought.
Oh,
There's not a lack of clothing.
okay.
They dress in a way where they're covered,
Okay.
but they also have really put the makeup on heavy and the jewels, and they've really dressed up for the occasion of trying to attract a customer. And
Interesting.
then they solicit you to come down the alley and
Yes.
up to the rooms where they conduct their business.
Wow.
But maybe Jason, you can share about the lady you met with and what you learned from her, and I'm happy to share about the
Sure.
lady I met
Yes, go ahead.
Sure, I'd say we've been in a lot of dark places around the world. A lot of slum areas, not fun places to travel to. But I will say this was the worst.
Oh,
It was the worst place we've been. And just getting there, I remember getting out of the car, and there was a river where we were. And there was people worshiping the river. There was people going to the bathroom in the river.
ooh.
There was people bathing in the river. And I just thought, wow, this is very different than what I'm used to here or anything that I've seen before. And so, as Tom said, our team had arranged for us to meet with these two ladies. And we have a drop-in center, what we call, for children who are children of sex workers, where they can come and have a safe place. And I think we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But these two women, they had children at the drop-in center. Mine did. I don't know if yours.
So we split up.
Yeah.
Each of us had a camera person with us, so we weren't by ourselves going to these places.
They didn't want us all together. There were only 6 of us, and they said that's too many to be going down the street at one time.
Right, all the
3
too much
here,
attention.
3 here, yeah. and all locals. There wasn't a lot of tourists there. We stood out. Everyone thought I was a cricket player from New Zealand. Everyone's asking me. And so we start walking down the street, and there's trash everywhere. There are men taking a bath in the middle of the street from like an open spigot. And there was these giant rats, I mean this big, running down the street.
Rats?
Yes, with trash everywhere. And then you have women every 5, 10
all
feet.
Dressed up, fancy.
All dressed up, trying to solicit us and to get our attention so that we can go in and be their client. And so they took me up to this lady's house, and we went up this winding staircase, and it just looks like a big slum. And we get to her house, and a guy walks out, and he's wearing the shirt of our organization in India.
What?
And I said, who's this guy?
Child Impact?
Yes, it's another organization that we partner with there. So it doesn't say Child Impact, but I recognize it because all the kids have this on. And so we're going to this woman's house who's a prostitute, and this guy walks out, and I was like taken aback, number one. I said, who's this guy? And they said, oh, this is her pimp. And I said, explain this to me. The woman that I went to see was 32. And when you come to Sonagachi and you're a young woman, there's a different part of town where you work. You work in a brothel that's controlled by madams or older women who used to be sex workers. And they're all in this one building, and you can go in and you can select who you want. But when you get in your late 20s and early 30s, you have to go out on your own because it's harder to get clients. Nobody's selecting you anymore because you're a little bit older. Right? So you have to hire this man who's your pimp now, who basically offers you protection in case any of your clients get rowdy or violent, but you have to pay him a portion of your proceeds. So this woman is renting a house. Now she's having to pay this guy to protect her, essentially, and she's hardly taking any money home at the end of the day. The second thing was a shock to me, was a young man walked out of that room, and it was her son. And this pimp shares the same, it was no bigger than this rug right here, room with one bed in there, and her son and this pimp would sleep in this bed, and she could call him if she needed any help while she worked in a room next door.
What?
I mean, just completely shocking, right? You can imagine.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here trying to absorb that because we had been to one of the districts, but we had not seen anything like that.
No, I've never seen anything like it.
That's just.
So, Jason, what?
But go back to the shirt thing because you said you saw a guy with the shirt.
Yeah, so it was the son's shirt, and this man had apparently just taken it and was wearing it for the day because they shared everything in this room that she was renting. This is her caretaker, her pimp, and she's working in another room. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So we go into this lady's room, and she is so hospitable and so kind. She goes and gets us this little chai tea in a bag with these little clay cups for us all to have a drink while we're there interviewing her. Just very kind, right? Just very thoughtful, very hospitable. And she said, you guys can ask me anything you want about my life, just please don't show my face if you take any video.
Wow.
Did they do video?
So we have a video that we'll show here in a little bit, and her face is blurred in it. And same with you and the lady you interviewed.
Now, just before we show that, just before we go to you, Tom, I just want to remind our listeners and viewers that they could send questions in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so many questions popping up in my brain. I'm probably sure that some people online are thinking, I need to ask some questions. You can send your questions by email to live at 3abn.tv, or you can text those to 618-228-3975. That's 618-228-3975. Wow, I'm transported. I mean, I've heard a lot of crazy things, but I'm just I'm amazed that you would be willing to risk your life that way.
Yeah.
But now you're getting this hospitable interview.
And she asked, you could ask her any question.
She said you can ask me anything. So of course my first question is, how did you end up here?
Yes.
You know, what are you doing here? And she said when she was 15, if I remember correctly, 15, she met a man online.
Oh boy.
And she was good at sewing, at tailoring. And this man was in a different part of India. He's in Calcutta, in Sonagachi. And he says, hey, if you come to stay with me, I can help you get a good paying job. And so a lot of women who come to Sonagachi come from the poor parts of India, and they come there because they think that there's opportunity for them. Or they're trafficked there from Nepal and Bangladesh because it's kind of on the border there. And so she meets this man. She goes to stay with him. He says he's going to get her this tailoring job. And when she gets there, she finds out that she's been sold to a brothel.
What?
So he takes her to the brothel, and there's this madam there, this older woman, and she loses it. She starts screaming, crying, and yelling. And the woman tells her, if you don't stop, I'm going to turn you into the police, and they're going to take you to a children's home, and you're going to be stuck there for the rest of your life. She has no idea what this means, but for her, this is the worst thing that could happen to her.
I would say, take me to the police.
Yeah, but she doesn't know. She thinks this is going to be worse, and so she submits and begins to work as a prostitute. And so she has a son a couple years later who's now part of our program, but that's how she ended up trafficked and trapped in prostitution. Now it's a 32-year-old who has a pimp looking after her. Her lips were strangely colored. They were very dark. And they said, do you see her lips? That's because of drug use, which I imagine are to cope with the situation that she's in.
So Jason, we found out different things in terms of what happens to the kids of the prostitutes. That was a question I had. But what did you find out from your person?
So when I was there, she was saying, you can sit down on my bed. You can sit down, make yourself at home. And I was like, I didn't feel very comfortable in there. And but I noticed that the bed was raised up. They're quite high. It's almost like they're on risers. And I was like, why are the beds raised up like this? You store stuff underneath. And they said often these women in prostitution will have children, and when they're working, they will put their children underneath the bed while they are working.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we can't imagine.
It's almost like they're training them. What about the father? Is there a father for the child?
No, there's no father around. So if the child is very young, they put them under the bed, which is why we have the drop-in center, so the child can be there. If they're a little bit older, they will send the child to run errands so that they can entertain their clients longer. So they'll say, hey, you need to go buy some liquor, you need to go buy some alcohol, you need to go buy some pills or some drugs. So the mom can entertain the client longer and make more money. And so this is why it's so important for us to have our centers for kids to have a safe place to be in this community and hopefully show them a better way of life.
Well, I mean, we're talking about impact, child impact. In a room like that where your mother is entertaining a client, that's an impact on the child. Now, before we show the video of Sonagachi, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I met a lady as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and she was 45.
Oh, she's older.
Yeah, older lady. Her room was a mess. What I was most surprised about is laying in her bed where she sees customers was her elderly mother who could barely breathe. And so I wondered what happens to the mom when a customer comes. She said she puts her out in the corridor or in the room of another prostitute. She carries her out. The mom can't even walk. This lady told me that she sees customers between the ages of 16 and 60.
Wow.
She's 45, looks like has had a hard life as a 60-year-old. Really what happens for many of these women when they can no longer see customers is they end up out on the street begging. And in her case, she shared with me that whatever the client or customer has promised to pay her, they always will short her at the end of the day. And I asked her, she had a boy as well in our program. I said, if you had a daughter, would you want her to go into this kind of a life? And she said, no. I said, well, what do you do then for these girls, these teenage girls? And she said that they try to get them out of the brothel. And in fact, we just had our first girl that a mother asked us to place in an Adventist boarding school that has come out of that circumstance. Wonderful. So we're super excited about that. Yes. But what she told me was different than what Jason had heard. She said that the girls, if a customer comes because the mother has enticed him from the street, when he's there, if the teenage girl is there, he'll choose the teenage daughter instead. So they have to make sure that teenage girl is nowhere to be seen. So she sends them to a hideout. So I said, I want to see this hideout. So you're going to see in the video where I go down on the street and they show me this hideout where these girls go. And so I think we can probably watch the video with that bit of a background.
Okay.
Watch for the mom.
The mom.
laying on the bed.
Okay, let's see it.
Million victims of human trafficking, modern day slavery globally. 2 of every 5 are located in India, and Sanagachi is the largest red light district in the world. We were not able to walk through the brothel videoing what we were witnessing and experiencing. But our videographer has a discreet camera, and so we were able to go into the home of a sex worker. She knew that we were filming there and was willing to share with us her story. She's 45 years old, but it's clear that she has a very hard life. Her room is cluttered, but into this atmosphere, environment, she brings clients. The money she receives for the work she does is very small. She's barely able to survive on it. So whoever comes, because she is looking simply to survive, she accepts as a client. One of the questions I ask is, what about women who have young children and a client comes along? What do they do? The children go to a hideout. I ask the question, can I see one of these hideouts? We stopped in front of a shop, and pointed out was a ladder that was stowed away but is pulled down at the times when these children need to hide. The shop owner will be paid a small fee, and that child will climb up into an attic that is 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet, so narrow that they have to lay down and wait until their mother is done serving the customer. At that time, because of cell phones, they'll receive a call and be told that it's okay to come home now.
Normally, when we think about sex workers, I think of this being basically a nighttime occupation. You know, these are women of the night. I've heard, that phrase before. But here in Calcutta, women are out at all hours of the day. There were women soliciting us very early in the morning as we were walking down the street. And to me, it was very sad that these women are in such desperate circumstances that they're basically willing to be outside all day, all night, and do whatever it took to provide for their families. The woman that I visited, when she was 15, she moved to Calcutta after making friends with a man who said that he had a very good job for her, one where she could support her family. She had been trained in tailoring, and this man said that he could get her a good tailoring job in Calcutta. When she arrived, though, the reality was quite different. She was sold to a brothel. She began crying hysterically. She did not want to be there. She had essentially been trafficked here by this man and sold into a life of slavery. The brothel owner told her, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to turn you into the police and they're going to take you to a government shelter. Being only 15 and from a different part of the country, she had no idea what this meant. And for her, this was an even worse fate than being there in the brothel. And so she began working as a sex worker at the age of 15. I asked her how old she was today, and she said, I'm now 32. She has a 15-year-old son who is privileged to attend our drop-in center, where he's getting an education, where he's learning good morals, good values. And I asked her, what is your dream for your son? And she said, well, I hope that one day he can be a police officer. She said, he's very tall, he's strong, and I know that he can do it. And so she has high hopes for her son that he won't be involved in this same type of work.
Our heart is painful because they are supposed to enjoy their life, a childhood life. But before reaching to adult, before completing their childhood, they were exploited. They cannot concentrate. They are supposed to enjoy their life. They are supposed to study. But before reaching to that stage, the perpetrator, abuser has been exploited to this very precious life. That's why we feel so painful by seeing those minors. That's why we always have had to rescue them emergency way, and we ask for police to kindly rescue for them.
There is an immense pressure for the young girl child to get back into the work that the mother is doing. The boys are sometimes a misfit, and they often fall into bad habits, getting into drugs, and they drop out of school. They don't want to be part of the education system. Many of the mothers who talked to us wanted their children to go away from that place and not to live in the shadow of this place. And as we began our work in Sonagachi, little step at a time, we established a drop-in center there. We want to make them feel, enjoy a normal childhood, enjoy the beauty of life in itself, and so we created a space which is beautiful and which they feel welcomed and which they feel safe. Give them the idea that life is far more than all the depression and sorrow that they see around them, and that there is purpose for them in life, and that God has a plan for them.
Child Impact is committed to fight human trafficking where it's the darkest. This is the largest brothel in the world, so we must be present here. But how do we help these women and these children? The Dream Home is a place that provides safety for these kids so they don't have to go to the hideouts. Instead, they can be in a place where they're involved in crafts, they're involved in support with their homework if they're older children, and they're in a nurturing and loving environment where they also receive a nutritious meal. So these children are being given a vision of a life outside of the brothel community. Here they're beginning to write their own story. And my hope is that that will take them outside of the experience they've grown up with to this point in their lives.
At Child Impact, when we talk about there's 50 million people in modern day slavery around the world, we try to focus on one child at a time. Can we change the life of one child here? And we're just getting started in this city. And I believe that now that we've got our drop-in center open, we've got our tailoring program open, we're hoping to get into investigations and working with the police and finding the most vulnerable girls who are being trafficked in this area. We also hope to prevent kids from a life of exploitation. And I think that what we're doing is like throwing a rock into a lake, and we're creating ripples that we hope will generate out from that little stone that we've thrown in and bring blessing and hope to the community and begin a cycle of change. But it really starts one child at a time.
When the Dream House is open, they come to Dream House. Be they are a student of Dream House or not, nobody in Sonagachi in the operational time of Dream House goes to a hideout. They come here. They feel safe and secure. Life exists beyond this lanes of Sonagachi. I really want the children to see that life, to take the glimpse of life. Then the children or the child who will become adult will choose their own path. But as to have an exposure that all other things also exist.
I was trafficked over there and was given forcefully marriage. And I feel that, like me, there are more girls because there are many who have faced worse than me and could not fight for themselves. And I am very much blessed that I have come out from that situation with my bravery. I have fought a lot to get, wherever I am now, I am much happy and I'm independent. And I feel that if there are many girls like me who really need help, who cannot fight for themselves, I hope that people stands beside them and help them to come out from that situation.
As you can see, it's quite a, I mean, it's hard to even put that into words.
It is.
When you both are there in Sonagachi, what are you offering
Yeah.
to this?
Help them, yeah.
To help these
You
people?
know, for me, the experience, as I reflect back, there was a little girl, she's in the video, it's blurred, but she has a hat on with rabbit ears.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's she kept making her ears go up and down with a big grin on her face.
Oh.
And I look at that and say, what about that girl?
Right.
Who's going to protect that girl?
Yes.
Who's going to make sure that she can have a different option for her life? And that's really what it comes down to. In America, we talk about, we have so many choices, you know?
Right.
And there, it's really a kind of a dead end. A very high percentage of girls that are born in a brothel end up working there and dying there. And so for a girl like that who has a light in her eyes right now, I really begin to be motivated to say we can make a difference for that girl and for her friends and for their friends. And so that's why we have this dream home where they can come and have a safe place.
So they're totally safe? Nobody could try to go in?
They're not only safe, they're loved and nurtured and can grow. And I think what's highlighted there in the video, I think to give these kids a glimpse outside of what they know, for them to know there is another life, there is another path, and that we're here to help them take that journey. So that's part of what we're doing. We started also a tailoring course there.
Oh, yeah.
And we have some women that are choosing to step out of that lifestyle.
Right.
All of them want out. None of them like to do this.
Right.
You know, when I first encountered sitting down with groups of women who are involved in this kind of work, you see that they just want a normal life. They don't want this. And so when they're given another option, they want to jump for that. They want to go for it. And so we're doing that as well. And then I think, Jason, we're doing police investigations too. We may have to pick up on that one after the break.
Sure, we'll do that. But I tell you, Tom and Jason, you're opening up to our listeners and viewers a world that many of them are not even aware exists.
True.
And I'm sitting here stunned. I've heard a lot of things. I'm from New York, a big city, but then you begin to see things that are just quite a bit different. We want you, those of you watching, to stay tuned once again live at 3abn.tv or 618-228-3975. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you've been here with us for the first hour, a very sobering first hour.
Yeah.
We just finished watching a video from Sanagachi, India, a province there in India, one of the largest brothels in the world.
The largest one.
The largest one that both Tom and Jason had an opportunity to dive into that underworld and talk about the way that you're rescuing children. And we're going to talk about more of that in just a moment here, not so much just that alone. But there's a world out there that many of us have never even heard of. Many of us don't even know exists. In America, you talked about more than 1 million in America being trafficked. But for the most part, most of us are safe. We have a home. We sleep in safety at night. But now we're beginning to see that outside of this country, all around the world, I think you mentioned about 50 million that are trafficked. And we want to find out a little more this hour of how that can, how you can make a difference there, honey.
Now, how can someone support the Sanagachi project?
Sure. Well, that's, again, a big emphasis for us here with July 30 coming up, the World Day Against Human Trafficking.
Yes.
So we have two aspects that we're inviting people to partner with. One is $50 to represent the 50 million victims of human trafficking. And the other one is to help support this particular project in Sanagachi. And so we have a special link, website link that individuals can go to, childimpact.org/giving-freedom. So I think we can get that up on the screen there.
It is.
Just jot that down, or it's very easy to call our office and to donate to either one of those. And our office phone number is 423-910-0667. So either way is a great way to make contact. And if you forget all of that, just go to our website, childimpact.org, and choose Operation Child Rescue.
What can $50 do for a child?
$50, and really when it becomes a monthly gift, that adds up to $600 in a year.
Yes.
Many of these projects cost $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 a year to run. because it's total care. You're providing in many of our rescue campuses or in our safe houses, everything the child needs 24/7.
Are they being educated too?
Education, supervision, safety, counselors, social workers, all these things cost a lot of money.
True.
And so this is where a lot of $50 adds up to making a big difference. And so we're looking for that large army of supporters. And occasionally we have somebody that will do $1,000 a month. And again, that makes a huge difference. So we've seen that number growing. It's not as rapidly as I wish because there's so many other things we want to do. But that's a huge blessing if you can support in that way.
You know, what gives you confidence when you look at the exorbitant, exponential number of people that are in this dark world? What gives you confidence that you can make a difference?
Sure. I think, Jason, you want to share one more thing about Sanagachi, about the police work, right?
We should. Yeah, we should share that. So I think it's important. I don't know if we've got any questions coming in, but when we started this work, we kind of tasked our team in India, where's it the darkest in India? And so they identified this location. And they said, but you know, we can't just go in there and start a project. There's a whole network of police, of government officials that you have to make friends with to even be able to come into this neighborhood and start trying to help. And so we started with a partnership with the Women's Police Department. They were trying to operate a school on what they call the veranda, the porch of the police building for children in the slums. And so what we did is we partnered with them and provided all the educational materials for kids who are out of school living in the slums. And they took us to go see it. I'll never forget. And we drove for almost an hour to go to this project. And then we had arrived in the slum. For me, the last hour we'd been driving through the slum.
All slum.
The whole thing. And I thought, well, we could have just done this an hour ago and just stayed where we were. But we started working there, and then we've got the drop-in center, we have the tailoring program, and now we've hired multiple investigators. And these are people who go undercover to try to find girls who are currently being trafficked. And so it's one thing, and I think it's very important that we try to prevent kids from going into trafficking. But what about those kids who are trapped right now? And that's what Tom and I are always dialoguing about. How can we get these kids out? And so we have undercover investigators who go in and pose as buyers. So they've developed a network, taxi drivers, people who own massage parlors, who own hotels, and they go in acting like they're interested in finding young girls. And now they've developed this network who says, hey, you know, we see girls coming in and out of this hotel. Let me introduce you to the manager. And these managers are going now and going through their phone and they're showing them pictures of girls saying, hey, I can get you these girls. This is normally when they're here. So that then we can build a case against these establishments and take them to the police and conduct raids on getting these girls out. So you asked, do we partner with the local governments and police departments? Absolutely, and they're a crucial part of what we do. And so we want to make sure that we give them credit for the work that they're doing. Now, even this work can be very difficult because we have people who want to help and then people who are part of the problem, right?
True.
And they told us stories that the police have been like, hey, what are we doing today? Right before a raid's been set up. You know, where are we going? And they'll tell them the name of this establishment where they're trafficking young girls. They'll get there and the whole building will be shut down. The whole hotel will be empty.
They'll inform them ahead of time.
They'll inform them ahead of time.
What?
They said one time they just told them the street where they were going and every business on the entire street was shut down when we got there.
Wow.
And so even who we work with in the government, they have to be particular people of integrity who want to see justice served and see these kids helped. But that's really how valuable our partners are in identifying and nurturing and fostering those relationships so we can get these kids out of slavery.
And I think, Jason, the raid needs to kind of all happen at the same time.
Exactly.
Right.
So all the girls you want to get out, you get them all at the same time. The element of surprise.
Do you take a van with you?
Not a white van, no.
Not a white van, no. How do you go? Do you just
You can only walk these streets, really, the narrow alleys.
But on the raids, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, on the raids.
Yeah, so they come in at one time, surround the building, then they have a social worker there who's right there on staff. They separate the children from their traffickers because they don't want them to be influenced in any way, right? because they can threaten them. If you say something, I'm going to harm your family, I'm going to harm your children. They don't want anything like that happening. So we provide immediate aftercare in helping get those kids to a safe place and separating them so the police can take the perpetrators away and start the justice process.
Wow.
What a rescue.
So you asked the question, what gives us hope?
Yeah.
And our work in the Vizag slum in another part of India is what gives us hope.
We were there. Vizag, yeah.
One of the first three, right?
We were.
One of the first 3 projects. So we've been doing this for a number of years now, and we have a preschool there,
Oh, nice.
as well as a tailoring program. Now I have to tell you my warped American mindset when I first heard about this project. I wondered why we're babysitting kids so the mothers can be prostitutes. That was what I thought.
Right.
Oh.
And then I realized, my goodness, that's not what we're dealing with at all. In fact, you know, I found out that these women are Dalits, which is the lowest caste system. Literally means broken and scattered. And I forgot, first of all, that they're Dalits, which we might say are untouchables. And so when we went there and we're holding their babies and we're taking pictures with them, they're like, this is so affirming to them as a human being, their value, innate value that they have as a human being, right?
Yes.
But I immediately forgot that these women were prostitutes. It didn't even cross my mind the whole time I was there because they were so relational.
Yes.
They didn't act like prostitutes. They didn't talk like that. They didn't behave in any way that way. They were so grateful that we're providing a tailoring course there.
Yes.
And so many of them have signed up for these courses and have left that life behind.
Good.
We have a couple of quick stories on that.
Sure.
We have a video, but you may have some questions.
I
that
have a
come in.
question from Alelia Blodgett from Dexter, Maine. Is there a website where we can buy clothing for the women who are redirected from their current line of work to tailoring/dressmaking? I guess they could contribute.
Yeah, so we have, we even had a local church support the whole tailoring project for these are 6 months programs.
Okay.
And they supported the whole thing. So it's about $1,000 per lady to take them through this training. And that gets them to a very high level of skill where they can make a career of this, they can become part of a garment factory, or they can start their own business. And so that's very helpful for individuals because obviously they're making clothes that contextually they're in India that they'll be wearing, but they can do this at a very high level by the time they've received that training.
Yeah, they want to buy clothes from them.
Yeah, that would be, we do have, they're making some garment bags and we'll share those out of saris. So we'll share that a little bit later, but yes.
Good, good.
Tell me about the girl at the Adventist boarding school.
Yes, so this was the first girl that we brought out of Sanagachi. Now is at an Adventist boarding school, which is super exciting. Her mom was a prostitute and was concerned that her daughter would end up in that life. I ran into a case in Vizag, which is the one we've been working in longer.
Yes.
And I met a lady, our partner was sharing her story with me, and I said, I've got to go see this for myself. So I went to visit her home. She's there with her son, and she had been prostituting herself to pay for her son to go to the local Adventist school. And she showed me the financial report every month showing that she'd made her payments on time.
Wow.
And I knew what that meant. I had never heard anything like this in my life. And we think about here in America, we always talk about what a sacrifice Adventist education is.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And believe me, with 9 kids, I know.
Okay.
You know, we don't have subsidy with child impact for Adventist education.
No,
It's been a journey and it's been a hard one. But I've never faced anything like that.
No.
And you see that this woman is giving the ultimate
That's a
sacrifice because she wants a different life for her son.
Wow.
So I said, you don't have to worry about that another day. We're going to sponsor your son
God.
to go to an Adventist school. And I went back and told all the women there in our program, in that tailoring program, if any of you have children that you want to send to the local Adventist school, we will cover the cost to do that. How many children do we have now in that program?
Oh, we have, I think, about 20 kids who have just come from that area. And this is what we were talking about earlier. It's kind of a natural fit with sponsorship, right? So when you rescue a child, you have something to rescue them to, and now we can put them in one of our partner Adventist schools.
Wow.
So it's really beautiful.
It's rewarding when you think that you go there and you leave, and there's one more child a number of children that are rescued that are now on a different course altogether, a different life they're looking forward to.
Yeah.
A parent whose burden is lifted that no longer has to live that life, but could now take up the task of learning how to be a tailor or a seamstress.
On our last visit, we met a brothel owner that had signed up for our course.
What?
You want to share about that, Jason? That was a shock.
So were they dedicated to leaving the brothel, or they would just want to learn how to add extra income?
So they send us a profile of all the women that they accept into each tailoring course. And so we get to see a picture of them, we get to learn a little of their background, how many kids do they have. And because we've been operating this preschool for many, many years, probably the same one that you visited, I'm sure, with about 30 kids per year, whose moms are sex workers.
Yes.
Because again, these kids are just put out on the street, outside, nobody's watching them. And so they come here to a safe place, and we wanted to help the moms. And so moms specifically of the kids in our program are targeted to come into our tailoring program. Well, this lady applies, and she's in her late 50s. And they were like, you know, ma'am, this isn't, you know, probably a program for you. We try to especially help the kids in our program already.
Right.
And she said, well, hang on, before you reject me, please hear me out. Let me tell you my story.
Yes.
This lady had started a business with her husband, an electrical business. He was an electrician. And they weren't making very much money. And they moved to this area and started to see that they could make a lot more money running a brothel. And so they opened up a business together, employed all these young ladies, and were operating this brothel. And she started to see that all of these young ladies that she had employed were getting sexually transmitted diseases and dying. She saw that this was ripping families apart.
Oh, yeah.
And the young ladies were literally being killed because of the hard, you know, conditions that they're working in. And she said, I want out of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Good.
She told all the girls, I'm shutting this brothel down. You got to go find something else to do.
Yes.
Now, this is the interesting thing. A woman who works as a prostitute will have customers all day long. People want to come see her. This woman's running a brothel. But no one wants to be associated with them outside of that. There's a stigma around these women. And so no one would hire her because they knew where she was from and they knew her former business.
Oh, yeah.
And she couldn't find anywhere to work. No one would hire her. No one would talk to her. And she got to the point of despair. She was about to commit suicide.
Oh.
A Christian pastor happened to meet her at this time in her life and told her, no, God has a plan for your life. Don't go through with this.
Don't do that.
And he knew about the Child Impact Tailoring Program there in Vizag and said, you've got to go apply to be part of this tailoring program. And that's how she came into our 6-month tailoring program.
And she's how old?
She's in her late 50s.
Wow.
And so we met her. We were there for her graduation.
What?
And like Tom said, you would never know. These women are so happy. They're so friendly. They're so personable. They're just, you know, talking like we're talking here.
Right.
Sharing about their families and their lives. And this woman is now going to be starting a new journey on her life.
God
from a
bless.
former brothel owner, now where she's going to have a respectable business where she can provide for her family.
And if Child Impact wasn't there, that story wouldn't happen. No. That wouldn't happen.
No.
So as you're listening to the program, these are not just isolated stories, but these are stories about the impact, no pun intended, of child impact. Not just impacting children, but impacting adults, impacting mothers.
Brothel.
Impacting former brothel owners. You have a story of a lady and her son that I want you to talk about.
Yeah, that's the mom who was, you know, prostituting herself for her son to go to the Adventist school.
Oh, yes.
But I did meet somebody on the opposite end, age-wise, that Jason met. I met a 16-year-old girl. This was my trip before last to India, to the Vizag slum. She found out about the tailoring program, and it prevented her from going into trafficking. You know, previously in the Vizag slum at 7 o'clock in the evening, the women line up on the porch and customers come through and they choose the one they want. And a 16-year-old good girl would be the most prized, would go for the highest price.
Right.
And this girl heard about another possibility, about the opportunity to get involved in tailoring. And so her name is Jyoti. And I just want to share her story through a video because it is a we've talked about a lot of dark things.
Right.
This one is very heartwarming and very encouraging.
We're ready
Okay,
for
let's
that.
look at the video.
Let's look.
Jyoti has risen above circumstances that many would find insurmountable. She was born into poverty as a Dalit. The Dalit is the lowest of the caste system and literally means broken and scattered. Then at the age of 6, her father passed away. Yet, because of a program offered through Child Impact in the Vizag slum, she has been able to learn the skill of tailoring at a very advanced level. This has enabled her to provide for herself and also for her mother, who she lives together with. As I visited Jyoti in her home, right in the center of the room was the sewing machine that she was gifted after she graduated from the tailoring program. She has customers who make custom orders. She then designs these dresses and is able to sell them to help support herself. Not only that, she is able to continue her education at university. What I love about Jyoti's story is that it is not one of rescue, it is one of prevention. Because we've offered this tailoring course in the Vizag slum, through word of mouth, Jyoti heard about it before she ended up in a prostitution trafficking circumstance. She was able to learn a skill that would provide support for herself. It's even more fulfilling because she has now continued on with her education to pursue a degree in social work so she can give back to these underserved communities through the education and skills that she'll receive as part of the degree that she is pursuing. What I see in Jyoti is such an enthusiasm for life. She has been handed an opportunity, thanks to those who support this project, that has given her hope and a vision for her life that is far beyond the confines of the community that she's growing up in. So much so that she has chosen a career for herself in social work because she is going to be rising above the circumstances that she found herself born into. And she wants to be able to provide that same opportunity to other girls like her.
What a story.
It's always good to have a bright light in the middle of a dark story. And what a life. Jyoti, that's her name?
Yeah, the first time I met her, she asked if she could speak with me.
Oh.
And so I kind of went off to the side. We're in this room with all the women there with their sewing machines.
Yes.
And she said, I would really like to take an advanced course in tailoring. Is that possible? And I'm like, would you be willing to allow us to follow your story and, you know, share this to inspire other people?
Yes.
And she said, of course. And so I said, okay, we will cover that advanced course for you. Well, some other women overheard the conversation.
Oh boy.
Open the door.
I guess I didn't talk quiet enough. My voice booms sometimes.
What about me?
Yeah, and they're like, we want the advanced course as well. We want it too. So now all the women that go through our program there get a basic and advanced course, and they can do some very detailed work, very high-end work that these garments go for quite a good sum of money. And so now to see that go for full circle for her and see that sewing machine there in her home and to go visit and see all that working, it's just so inspiring. But we have a new project for these ladies. And we got a video of it. If you look at the video very closely, you're going to see Jyoti making sari bags. So saris, of course, are the clothes they wear.
Yes, it is.
They're taking that material and they're making bags with those saris. And we're going to be buying them from the ladies and then bringing them here to the U.S. so that we can give those as gifts to donors. We go to a lot of churches to speak.
Yes.
We can give those for a drawing at a church when we go.
Nice.
And maybe even we're going to be offering some of them for sale online.
I'll buy one.
So we're getting close to that happening. But we have a video that our partner just sent us, just simple video off his phone, but showing that program of the Sorry Bags.
Okay, let's look at that. Wow, so they've been given an opportunity. This is the advanced and the basic course.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you provide as we're watching this video? What does Child Impact provide for this program?
The sewing.
So we provide them all with their own sewing machine
Oh,
at
that's
the end of this
special.
course.
Wow.
And so we think that's really important. It's not just, hey, come learn this skill on our machines and then good luck buying your own.
Right.
You know?
So they could take these and use it toward their career, use it
Exactly.
toward their own business.
That's what they're doing, yeah.
So you saw in Jyoti's house, she puts her sewing machine right in the middle of her living room.
Right.
One room is all they have, and a
Oh.
very small kitchen on the side. But yeah, it's right there beside the bed.
And
Where do they get the material from?
so we also give them a starter kit where they can get started, but they can buy the material locally there.
Okay, good.
But they can get buttons, thread, some material. And now this new Sorry Bag initiative, which I think was your idea, coming back and saying, hey, we're speaking in so many
idea.
churches, we need something to give away.
Great.
So they brought in some special teachers. They had a model of one, and they've been experimenting with it. And now it's come to fruition. They just texted me this week and said, we've done the first 100 bags.
All right.
Wow.
So they're very excited about it. They hope to start selling them locally as well. And
First
so now we've
100.
created a whole new industry of Sorry Bags there.
The different colors and all
Exactly.
that. The bags.
So, and we'll bring these out when we speak at local churches. So
Yes.
maybe I can share here that our team, we have a team of about 25 speakers that go out to local churches to
I
preach.
saw that on your website.
Yeah, so we preach a biblical sermon, and then in the afternoon we share about our projects, and we come at no cost to the local church. But in the afternoon we always have a drawing.
Ah.
So we want to have those Sorry Bags available as part of that drawing, as well as, you know, in our office for people that come by. And yeah, we're excited about that project.
Spell sorry, because a lot of people might wonder, well, how do you spell
S-O-R-R-Y. No, just kidding. I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
S-A-R.
it? S-A-R-E, S-A-R-E-E.
Yeah, that's S-A-R-E-E is what I thought, but you say it's
Sorry.
S-A-R-I?
S-A-R-I.
Don't
Somebody
put me in the
help us
spelling bee. Somebody call in and tell us.
One thing you don't have to be sorry about.
Yes,
That's the beautiful thing about it, because India is a very colorful culture.
it is.
So the materials that you'll see there that will make up some of these bags, you won't find that material in America.
Right.
When you have a joke, when he was in India, they thought he was an Indian. Remember that?
I was trying to get into the airport. We were actually in Bangalore.
Bangalore.
And I'd taken in sick, and I had to stay an extra couple of days there before I got well. And some of the other ones went on to another city. We were supposed to meet them there, but they forgot to change my airline ticket. So I get to the airport, and the security guard at the airport, you know, you can't get in unless your ticket and your passport matches where you're going. And he said to me, "Are you Indian?" I said, "I'm not Indian." He said, "You look Indian to me." I said, "I'm not Indian." He said, "Are you sure you're not Indian?" I said, "I'm sure I'm not Indian, but you look Indian to me." So I said, "What's the problem?" He says, "Well, you're not getting into the airport." I said, "Why?" He said, "Incorrect ticket." I said, "So what do I have to do to get into the airport?" Buy a ticket. And so there we were in Bangalore.
Yes.
After, that's when it was Asian Aid.
Yeah.
And, but it was amazing. So, but I did look pretty Indian. I had round glasses and just a cap, and my hair combed back and a blue little jacket. And honey, I do like Indian. And so, but
my wife gets that as well. You know, she's Brazilian.
Okay.
Yes.
So she wears Indian clothes there and here.
Oh yeah.
She loves
fit
going
right
to India.
in.
it is a beautiful country. Let me just kind of, there's another side to India, but we're talking about in our world, we could easily ignore the dark in favor of the light. What I like about Child Impact, they're not saying, well, you know, there's so many good things to rejoice about, let's ignore the bad things.
Right.
What I like about your organization, and this has been a part of the history of Child Impact, is they're saying, you know, we could just turn our ear to this, we could turn our eye to this and forget about it and do something more encouraging. But the impact, I can't get away from that word, is something that you're not just thinking about temporarily.
Yeah.
What other impact are you hoping to bring to the stage when you look at these lives?
Yeah, I think as we look at our work in India as a whole, there are a lot of needs. As you say, it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, spicy food.
Matter of fact, I ate so much spicy food. The last 3 days I was there, I had just had rice,
plain
carrots,
rice.
and celery.
I was wondering if that was the result of you not feeling so well.
Yes, it was the spices.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It was
Give me
too
more
strong.
spices, and it just really caught me. But, yeah.
So we have a number of very meaningful projects in India outside of the rescue projects. So we have a blind school that we support there, and we have operations that we offer if a child is able to receive some of their sight back.
Yeah.
We've had some amazing experiences with that. We
Like
have
cataracts?
we have a professional exam done to determine if a surgery would help them recover sight. So we have one girl that has regained 90% sight.
That's a big deal.
And our team chose that as one of our favorite stories of the whole year a couple years ago.
How
And
old is she?
She would be 12, 13.
Oh, and she couldn't see.
Yeah, so now she's winning competitions, and she's about ready to transition to a seeing school.
Oh,
But they had to teach her to read from nothing.
True.
And so that transition took a while. We have a deaf school that we've just finished a boys' dormitory for that school.
Wow.
An amazing project. I think of all the places we take donors, that one has to be one of the favorite. Because every child wants to personally sign to you. You can't say hi to the whole group. You have to say individually. You have to sign greetings back and forth. Super friendly, very spiritual place. We love that project as well. Then we have an orphanage that just had their 25-year anniversary.
Wow.
And that's a video I want to show you.
Oh, let's see.
If we have time to get to it, this is one of the most inspiring videos we have.
I want to see
Is that from the Sunrise?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at that.
Go. Let's go.
I was an orphan. I was a sponsored child. Now I'm a teacher.
I was an orphan. I was a sponsored child. Now I'm a community health officer in government sector.
I was an orphan. I was a sponsored child. Now I'm a senior manager in medical field, overseeing 500 employees.
He's my husband. He's from Sunrise, and I'm a university professor.
I was an orphan. I was a sponsored child. Now I am a nurse.
I was an orphan. I was a sponsored child. Now I am a senior chemist.
I was an orphan. I'm a sponsored child. Now I am a staff nurse.
I was an orphan. I'm a sponsored child. Now I'm a nurse.
I was an orphan. I was sponsored. Now I'm a sales executive.
Throughout the world, countries try to identify how best to care for orphans. And there are basically three different approaches. One is an orphanage, another is a group home, and finally there's foster care. Here in India, there are 30 million orphaned and abandoned children. And the Sunrise Home really is technically an orphanage, but the name home implies something more intimate. And really what's been established here is a place where these children feel so welcomed as children, as brothers and sisters, as having a mommy and daddy in Raj and Lalitha Varma, that they don't really see it as an orphanage. They see it as their home.
This is all because of the sponsors. Support is always there for us, and we always pray for their blessings and prosperity.
Now I'm so independent and I'm so much proud to be stand on my own. It's all because of God and mommy and daddy.
Greetings, friends. I'm here with Jayashanth, who our family has been sponsoring for the last 5 years. And Jayashanth, we are so proud of you. You're doing amazing here at the Sunrise Home. Perhaps you would like to sponsor a child like Jayashanth. You can go to our website at childimpact.org and select sponsorship, or you can call our office at 423-910-0667.
Thank you for bringing hopes to a child like me.
Wow. I remember that school. I remember going to the one of the schools, and I said, where do you sleep? And they took me to where they slept, on a mat.
Little mat.
And I laid down on the mat, and all the kids surrounded me. Yay, he's laying on our mat. So, look, could you lay on my mat? So they all wanted me to lay on their different mats. I tell you, it's moving.
Yes.
To see the difference in a child's life, going on to have a career.
Right.
And they started as an abandoned child. It kind of went back into my life a little bit.
Yeah,
because I was left at a babysitter.
He was abandoned.
An Adventist babysitter.
He was like an
at 3
orphan.
months old. Yeah.
Wow.
So looking at that is kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
Look at me today. Look at their lives. So this program is not just about children that have no future, but it's about people like Child Impact, people that are working for Child Impact, that says, you know, this child is not going to leave, not going to be left behind. We're going to invest in this child and make a difference in that child's life. And I was so impressed, you know, nurses, engineer,
business.
this is my husband, we were both. We were
She's a
both
university professor.
University professor.
By the way, she had an enormous number of proposals. She was somebody that all the guys were interested in this particular lady. And so it was one proposal after another, but she had decided that she wanted to marry a Christian.
Wow.
She's actually a Seventh-day Adventist university professor teaching nursing.
Wow.
So quite an accomplished young lady.
Yes.
So this proposal came along from this young man who had his mother died just a few days after he was born. He's never seen a photo of her. His father was blind and passed away when he was 5 years old. He then went door to door begging for food. And now he's marrying a university professor.
Wow.
And he's overseeing hundreds of employees, being flown by his employer by helicopter to visit some of the projects.
Wow.
And you're like, this is remarkable. How can this even happen?
All from sponsorship.
That's it.
Yes.
I want to give that phone number again,
423-910-0667.
That's right. This is the phone number that you can call to find out how to be a sponsor. Also, the website, give that one more time.
Yep, childimpact.org. And of course, look on the website there for Operation Child Rescue. That's what we've mainly been focused on this evening. But also, of course, you can sponsor children there, like Jayashanth. Jayashanth is a young man that's very interesting. He's a single orphan. His father passed away in the part of the country where his father is a farmer. Some of the chemicals are toxic, and there's a lot of early death that happens. And so these children can end up as orphans because of the work that they do with agriculture. And so there was no way his mother could provide what he needed for an education. He's a very bright young man. She was so excited for this opportunity at Sunrise for him to attend there. And when I first saw his room where he lives, I noticed he had 2 Bibles.
Oh.
And I asked him, my wife was there with me, what's your favorite book of the Bible? And I've never heard a young person say this before. He said the book of Hebrews.
Ooh.
So I didn't believe him. I said, even that he knows that Hebrews is in the Bible is pretty amazing. But I said, show me the book of Hebrews. He turned there with the biggest smile on his face. He went right to the book of Hebrews. So, you know.
Book of Hebrews.
Yes.
That's a heavy book.
It is for a young man like that. But he has big dreams for his life. He says he wants to become a doctor, the latest dream that he has. He said like you, and I didn't tell him that I was a doctor of church growth, not a medical doctor.
Of church growth, I like that.
That's good. So there are some amazing stories, Jason. You've experienced some of those. And you know, both of you being parents,
yes,
you probably come home and look at your child and you think, wow, there are so many more of children out there that they could be just like my daughter, my children could have been in situations like that. What kind of...
Because he has 2 daughters, right?
I have 2 daughters, and my family sponsors some kids, and one of them is actually at Sunrise Home.
Okay.
We sponsored him before I was ever involved with Child Impact.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet him on my first trip there, and I got to learn a little bit more of his story. And we would get these letters. You know, if you sponsor a child, they'll write letters to you and share with you how they're doing, how their grades are in school and things like that. And I would get these letters and they would be strange, and they would be about him like stealing fruit or getting into trouble, that he was a troublemaker. And I was like, this is kind of strange. We try to screen, you know, some of the letters.
Right.
And so I got there and I learned he has a very tragic story.
Oh.
His father had an affair, and his mother caught him and killed him in front of her children.
What?
Just in a moment of rage and anger. And so she went to jail, and he ends up at the Sunrise Home. And so when they're telling me this story, when I first meet him, I'm like, well, of course he has behavioral problems. You know, this is what his home is like. But he is the nicest kid.
Oh.
I mean, just...
How old is he?
I think he's 9, 10 now.
What a
And
trauma.
so we've been sponsoring him for a while, but they said now he's maturing.
Oh.
He's not stealing anymore. He's very well behaved. But his mom recently got out of prison.
Oh.
And he heard, and he ran away from the orphanage. You know, a bond between a child and a parent is so strong.
Yes.
He just wanted to be with his mom. She was hundreds of miles away, but he just went off looking for her, and they found him walking on the road in town and brought him back multiple times. And so they arranged a meeting for him to meet his mom.
Oh.
And she said, you know, you need to stay here. This is the best place for you. So now they're able to visit with each other.
I'm glad.
And he's kind of settled into his time there.
Wow.
But one thing that stood out to me, because we just went to the 25th anniversary of the Sunrise Home being started, was Jesutus. And he made a comment up front. You saw in the video, he was the guy with the wife who said, this is my husband.
Yes.
Well, when we were there, he was up front. And I think that these kids, you know, there's a stigma around them that they were born in an orphanage, that they didn't have parents, that they can't be successful. And that's why this video is so powerful. And he got up and he said, my wife is here today. I want her to come up. And he called her up to the front. And it was like he was showing off his wife. And he was like, look what I got.
I caught a university professor.
Look at her. She's a university professor.
I was raised in this orphanage, but look at how my life
look
turned
who
out.
I was able to marry. He was so proud of his wife.
Sweet.
And it was just the cutest thing to see them together.
He was signaling to the children, no, your future is not bleak. Your
That's
future
right.
is not hopeless.
Exactly.
Look at how my life turned out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even
And
like
giving-
Ravi.
Huh?
Ravi.
Yeah.
Once.
Ravi Tumalapalli, I remember his name. Ravi Kumar Tumalapalli.
Yeah.
Many years ago, a young man who was in the orphanage, ended up working for the orphanages.
Yeah. And he came here.
And he came here. Oh, that was a story and a
the
half. It just
story.
kind of goes back to part of, he was driving on the, not driving, but he was with someone at the time at Asian Aid, driving, and he was on his way to Chicago, and he said, where are all the people? What do you mean all the people?
On the highway.
There's no people on the highway.
Yeah,
walking.
'cause India.
You know, when you're driving on the highway, then there are people everywhere. He said, stop the car, stop the car. Where are the people? There's no people.
No people.
They're used to seeing people all along the highway in India,
Yes,
but not in
yes.
America.
Yeah.
So have any of the children from these homes come to America?
We are inviting Jesutus, the young man, and his wife to come. Hopefully they'll be here in a couple months. We're working on their visa right now. We did have a young lady come here, and she came to 3ABN by the name of Mary, who has graduated as an Operation Child Rescue sponsored girl. And she's very eloquent on camera, a very good communicator. And she was able to help a lot of girls get sponsored.
Really?
Just by people seeing her firsthand. I mean, I wish, you know, we have a program here we just recorded about our experiential donor trips.
Oh.
Because really seeing these projects firsthand, in fact, we have a trip planned to India coming up. If you'd like to, any listener would like to know more about that, you can make that request at our office or register your interest on our website. But
so they not only could donate, but they could also go
and experience
like
it firsthand.
Trip.
We do it kind of as to spend time with the kids. We're not going there to typically to build buildings
Right.
Sometimes we'll do some medical work, but mainly we want these donors, individuals, to experience what their life is like. So we will go to the homes of these children, or we'll go to the place where these children are trafficked, so that donors can see firsthand the hardship that they face, and then see the difference that happens when they can be in a safe place and when they can be surrounded by people who love them and are giving them a different option and path for their life. And so there's nothing like seeing it firsthand.
True.
Jason and I are constantly motivated for the work that we do.
Yes.
And we know that value so much that we want our own kids. We want our wife.
Kids been there?
Yes, my kids have been.
Like that.
And Jason has been with his kids.
Oh,
And
nice.
we cover that ourselves out of our own pocket to do that.
Yes.
Because we want our families to have that experience as well.
Now, the deaf school, there's some books that have been produced.
Oh, the deaf.
How does that work?
So a little over a year ago, we produced our first children's book called Angel Leaves the Station. And that was based out of a story in Tanzania. But we selected a young girl by the name of Maya from the deaf school to share her story. And so what I love about this, I was at a camp meeting. Sometimes I get a chance to do mission features or, the kids spotlight or something during camp meetings.
Yes.
And I was sharing about our deaf school there. And as soon as I did that, from that day, everywhere I was on campus for camp meeting, kids would be in sign language greeting me. And I said, man, kids love this. So let's write a children's story book about a deaf girl. And so she shows how to say her name in sign language and how to say a few words, and then encourages children who read the book to learn how to sign their own name. And so you have the whole alphabet there in the back of the book as well. But Maya's story is very inspiring. Loving parents, father that absolutely adores her. I have this bond with her dad. We just love to, we connect whenever I see him. I'm like, I love the way he loves his daughter. That's how I feel about my daughters, about my sons.
Yes.
And you see that he's willing to do whatever he can to help her be successful. And so he relocated the family to the location where the deaf school is at.
Wow.
So that his daughter could go to school there. And previously she felt isolated, excluded, left out, not having friends. All of a sudden now she finds her voice. She's able to communicate in sign language. And so she finds friends, she finds a loving environment, and has big dreams for her life.
Yes.
And we even have a graduate from the deaf school that works for Boeing India. Has met the president of the country.
Was this person deaf before?
Yes, he still is.
And he works for Boeing?
Yes.
Wow.
So both at the deaf school and blind school, we have the highest level of education for these kids so that they're totally employable once they finish going through school there.
How many students or residents are there?
Both those range between 80 to 100, 120 kids. But we just expanded the boys' dormitory to bring in more children. So we're excited about the opportunity to even grow that some more.
Well, so you guys are visionaries. You talk about you love to dream. What are some of the dreams you have for the future of Child Impact? I threw a curve at you, didn't I?
Oh, man. So many. There's so many.
The two of us have our feet on the foot on the accelerator all the time.
And like you just said a moment ago, when a particular project was voted, and you both said, they don't even know what they just voted. But you guys always continually thinking of ways of expanding the outreach.
I would say, Jason, we'd love to open a new rescue campus every single year.
Right.
Yes.
We're probably going to put these kids on a different type of sponsorship because it's more costly when you're running a whole campus. But that's the way we can support it on a monthly basis. And so we're going to start putting some of these kids on our rescue campuses onto a sponsorship that's $150 a month, which is more realistic. But when you compare that to what it costs here, it's just not even close.
Right.
But that's a realistic cost that covers, the operations of these rescue campuses. So we're going to start that program. We've already kind of launched it, but I would say that's one goal, is to open a new rescue campus. It costs about $1 million and change to build out a full-featured rescue campus with cafeteria, dormitories,
housing, about
education, and those will house 100 to 150 kids typically.
Wow.
So yeah, that's been the range. So we've raised that for the Philippines, and that one's to prevent child marriage.
What are you doing in the Philippines?
Child marriage is the issue there. And so, yes, so we have literacy schools that are in the mountains, but the girls are pressured by culture to marry young, and some at very young ages. And so we're building on 14 acres, a beautiful setting. In the lowlands, a campus where that pressure is going to be removed from them, where they can choose to continue their education and get a degree for both boys and girls. So we have vocational training building as well that's part of that campus. So these are high quality locations where, as a donor, we want you to be able to go there and look at this and say, we are so happy with how the resources have been used. I took a donor to visit some projects that she'd funded in Tanzania, and she immediately funded another project.
I was going to ask you, what are you doing in Africa?
We have so much happening in Africa, so many different projects there.
What?
So I think we want to keep opening child impact offices. We'd like to have those all over the world.
Yes.
And in the most difficult countries to work in. We want to keep, our foot on the gas, like Tom said. We have a new project. You asked about Africa. In Zambia. We've just bought an airplane with Angel One. So we have not been in aviation ministry before. But our partner there has identified that there are 30 islands along a particular river. It's called the Kafue River. There are no schools on those islands. There are no medical facilities. There's no churches on these islands, and people living off tiny little fish that they catch and trade. And we would like to put schools that will function as a church on Sabbath on each one of these islands.
And the way there is by plane.
And the only way there is by plane. And so we just brought in the first and only float plane in Zambia, so it can land on the water.
I was just going to ask,
delivering missionaries who will be from our sponsorship program, who will sign up then to go back and serve in other parts of their own country. And so we've got funding for the first 4, the first 2 are under construction, but there are 30 islands there. And so that's a big initiative for us.
The next few years, that will keep us busy.
Well, I like flying. I mean, I'm a flight simulator enthusiast.
We do take trips to Zambia. We do a couple trips March every year.
That is amazing.
Zambia.
I'm looking at the scope. Really, Tom, I just want to, I'm using my figure of, I take my hat off to both of you for just really just diving into something. You say it again.
They're visionaries. Both of them.
They're visionaries.
For the Lord.
That you cannot stop. Lord, what else do you want us to do? Where else would you like us to go? And that aggressive vision of wanting to have a child impact, a safe house, what do you call them?
A rescue campus.
Rescue campus. Then the other thing that you call the drop-off, was it
the drop-in centers?
The drop-in centers. Reiterate what
safe
that
houses.
is. Somebody might not know what that is, the drop-in centers.
So we have, particularly in some high-density populated areas, a place where kids can come when they're not in school. And this enables them to have some tutoring, to learn other skills, to get a vision beyond the confines. I know in our project in Brazil, they simply take them to the park. It's only 15 minutes away, but how many kids ever get a chance to go to the park?
Play on grass.
Yeah, and actually play on real grass and the swing set and so on. So we want to give them a different vision for their life and make sure they have that period of time they're in a safe place. And, kids will talk. And when kids share their stories, that's when intervention is often needed, and you can really make a significant difference to get them into a safe place.
Wow. So we focused a lot today on India and what's happening there. and the changes of lives. I think in the future when you come back, we're going to talk about you need to bring some saris with you, so that
I'll bring a sample of a bag.
I'll bring a sample. Also, you also are a father of some adopted children.
Yes, 4. And one of my son, 18-year-old's in Latvia right now. That's his home country.
Okay.
He got hired to work there doing some construction this summer.
Nice.
We're so anxious for him
He's
to get
your
back home. He's our oldest adopted child. Yeah. But I've been on a road trip with 3 of my kids. Well, 2 of them, and the third one is joining now. And so they're here with me in the studio. So I think they want to just come and wave and say hi.
Why don't we bring them in?
Okay, come on in, guys.
Come on, stand right over here. Yeah.
All right.
You're making an impact in these levels.
Let's meet
So this is my son, Andre.
How old is Andre?
I am 20 years old.
Yeah, so
He's 20?
Andre's
You're young
20.
20.
He's young.
Elementary education major.
Yep.
Okay.
And 1 year left.
Okay.
Almost done, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Male teacher.
And this is our youngest.
Oh.
This is Ani.
Hi, Ani.
And she has enough energy for the whole family.
No, where was she born?
In Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Okay.
Wow. And so, and then this is Gabby, and Gabby is, she just became an official adult. She just turned 18.
Yeah, I guessed 17, but she said, 18. Well, welcome. Good to
Where were you born?
Bulgarian.
Bulgaria?
Wow.
Oh, they have microphones, so they can talk. I thought they didn't have, so they could.
Yeah.
Okay. So last time they were here, they didn't know much English, and so now they.
Now I speak English.
So proud. Now I speak English.
So Ani, share with us, what were your grades the last quarter in school? What were they? What were your grades? You don't want to share it?
No, you.
You tell.
So the way she says it's A. Straight A's.
Wonderful.
Straight A's.
How did that even happen?
It's called study and apply.
Working hard.
Yeah, she loves whatever she does with all her energy.
Yes.
And Andre already has a conference that wants to hire him.
Yep.
Amen.
Wow.
To be a teacher.
To be a teacher.
Yep.
And what grades, Andre, are you?
I was thinking about 3rd grade. That's the grade I like teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not many male teachers out there.
No, not at all. Yeah.
They're very much needed, though.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either 3rd grade, or if I teach music or art, I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
See, you're living what you're talking about.
This is the most fun part, is to be able to live it every day. And, you know, our girls, Andre, they want to make a difference in the world. This is, I remember Ani telling me one time, she said, Dad, I've never met a poor person before.
Oh.
Not realizing that that's how she'd grown up.
Right.
Wow.
But, you know, to have that kind of being satisfied with life without having much.
God bless
you know?
you.
And so we're just really proud of how the girls are doing. They make friends. They bring a lot of joy to our lives.
So happy.
So they became orphaned when Gabby was 10.
10.
And Ani was 4.
Wow.
So their mom passed away.
Wow.
And the government stepped in and put them in a group home.
Oh, they were.
But Ani was the one that wanted a family. Gabby had lots of friends. You know, she was okay there. But she saw her sister really struggling and wanting a family. And so I think really Ani wanted a mom.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think about every few days she says, I can't believe I have a mom now.
Oh, how
Praise God.
So I'm just on the side, the extra bonus. But I think Gabby had not really had a dad figure in her life that was positive.
right.
And so,
And you have
anyway,
that?
we're a whole family now.
You do now.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you,
God bless you.
can't get away from perfect title. What an impact! I tell you. So, in the
beautiful.
minute we have left,
Yeah.
how could you encourage our viewers and listeners? Just look right
Look
into
in
that
that camera.
camera there.
Yeah, I really have asked myself the question if what we're doing really matters, if we're really involved in giving hope, in changing lives, then why would we slow down? Why would we be satisfied with continuing to do the status quo, what we've always done? I think we have to be focused on growing. And to grow, we need more partners. We need more individuals who will join with us. We call it the rescue party. These are individuals who say, we will support on a monthly basis. That can happen through sponsorship as well. But that is what we really need, is an army of individuals who are committed to make a difference for the most vulnerable children globally. Not everyone can adopt like we have. Yes. That's certainly been a blessing in our lives, but I think everyone can make a difference in the life of a vulnerable child.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Jason.
Yes.
So much for coming and transforming our hearts,
Oh,
reminding us all of what really matters.
Yes.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for these 2 hours. I know your life was transformed. Once again, Child Impact International is calling you to join them. God bless you until next time.